Adrian, our WikiTree researchers found out that your great great grandfather was a U.S. Civil War veteran from Humboldt, Kansas, and he may have been friends with the legendary Buffalo Bill Cody, another Kansas volunteer for the Union cause. A third cousin of yours has reported that his family believes that this old tintype shows Robert Dotson and Buffalo Bill together.
I hope that my grandmother is looking over my shoulder as I'm reviewing this with you because she is obsessed with the Civil War, or was obsessed with the Civil War, and
Oh,
would have
wow.
eaten this with a spoon. She would have loved it.
Robert Dotson is your paternal grandfather's mother's father. Like most of your family, he was born in Crawford County, Missouri. When he was a young man in the 1850s, the family moved across the border into the Kansas Territory. At the time, Kansas was at the center of the conflict between pro slavery and anti slavery advocates. According to the Kansas Nebraska Act of 1854, the settlers of the Kansas Territory would be allowed to vote on whether to join the Union as a free state or a slave state. Many Americans believed that the future of slavery in America was hanging in the balance in Kansas. People felt passionately about the issue, for and against, and flocked to the territory in order to help influence the vote. The Dotsons were part of this movement. It's likely that they felt strongly about Kansas being a free state. Your ancestors left their home in Missouri to become one of about 100 founding families in the free state town of Humboldt. The town was created in 1857 with financial help from abolitionists in Boston, Massachusetts. In 1861, the abolitionists won the big vote. Kansas entered the Union as a free state on January 29, 1861. The new imbalance between free states and slave states was the final straw for many Southerners. About 3 months after Kansas entered the Union, the first shots of the Civil War were fired at Fort Sumter, South Carolina. Humboldt, Kansas was a stop on the Underground Railroad. Escaping slaves were said to have followed the east bank of the Neosho River. Natural caves in the limestone river bluffs were hideouts. One cave is said to have led to a tunnel that brought escaped slaves to a building where Humboldt residents gave them shelter, food, and aid. This helped make Humboldt a target. In a September 1861 Confederate raid, 8 to 12 escaped slaves hiding out in the town were kidnapped and returned to slavery. Just a month and a half later, there was an even more violent raid. On the night of October 14th, 1861, between 300 and 400 Confederates from Arkansas and Missouri rode into Humboldt. Although the raid on nearby Lawrence, Kansas is more infamous, the raid on Humboldt was 2 years earlier and incredibly destructive. The diary of Confederate Second Lieutenant John W. Fisher tells the story from the raiders' perspective.
We arrived just in the edges of the town a little before sundown while the people were eating their suppers. Our regiment took the east side and Colonel Talbot's the west. We all started on a charge, yelling like Indians, and rode right into the town. We then broke into all the houses, searching for men and for whatever our men wanted. We took everything that we needed out of the stores that we could carry and then set fire to the town and laid it in ashes. Humboldt was a very pretty town. There were some fine houses in it. I hated to see the town destroyed, but that is the only way we can get rid of them, and it was what the governor sent us there to do.
According to reports, the night was illuminated by the flames of the burning buildings, and the roaring of the fire and the crashing of the buildings could be heard for miles around. The New York Times reported that 21 dwelling houses, stores, and a mill were all consumed, more than one half of the buildings. The vicious attack on their town appears to have led your great great grandfather, 21-year-old Robert Dotson, and also his brother Marcus, who was just 15 or 16 at the time, to join the fight. They enlisted in the Union Army 1 month after the Second Confederate raid in November of 1861. They served for the duration of the war in Company A and Company H of the 10th Kansas Infantry. Serving alongside the Dotson brothers was a man who would go on to become one of the most famous figures of the American West, the legendary Buffalo Bill Cody. Cody's father was a passionate opponent of slavery, and the Cody family moved to Kansas around the same time as the Dotson family. Buffalo Bill enlisted with the 7th Kansas Cavalry Regiment, which was stationed in Humboldt in 1862. As I mentioned, there is this great old tintype photo scanned by Paula Dotson of St. Peters, Missouri. It was handed down through her husband's Dotson family line with a story that it shows Robert Dotson on the left together with Buffalo Bill on the right. Now, this can't be proven, but your ancestor and Buffalo Bill did serve together as Kansas volunteers and were in the same place at the same time. So it's certainly possible.
That's fantastic.